Hey guys, welcome back to a Seller Session. Today's Tuesday. Back in the chair is Sharon Evan, Kian Golzari. Now, we did have a little debate off screen. Now, this won't be beneficial for the podcast, but he does have an orange Hilfiger top on with blue in. And then we were talking about the matching colours, as he shows his top there. We were talking about the matching colours in the hat. We're saying blue and green should never be seen, but his hat's multicoloured anyway. But the oranges are not bang on, are they? They're not the same patch colour. So
No.
what do we do here? Do we get him to take the hat off and he shows us COVID hair?
Oh, I don't know about
or
that.
does he switch the hat out for another hat?
He would switch hat, but we need everyone to answer whether they think Ken should switch the hat to a black hat. Where's the other hats next to you? Show them. So this hat, which would be the other way around. Yeah, it would be like that. What does it say? Wish you were here.
Wish you were here.
I'm sure there's a lot of females that would be watching that and they'd prefer the hat.
I hope so. Hit me up. Details in the bio.
All right, Danny, back to you.
Okay, so quick introductions. Kian, can you explain who you are to the people?
Yeah, sure. Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Kian Golzari. Living and working in China for the past 10 years, currently quarantine based in Scotland. And in that time I lived in China, I've attended more than 20 Canton Fairs. And yesterday I attended my first virtual Canton Fair with a lot of you guys as well. That's something that we'll be talking about today. So yeah, looking forward to getting into it.
Okay, so Sharon, would you like to do a quick intro as well?
Yes, hello, my name is Sharon Evan. I've been selling online on and off for the last 15 years. I've been selling on Amazon since 2016, and I also am on YouTube, and so is Ken Sourcing with Ken. I'm Sharon Evan, and I've never attended a Canton Fair.
Until this morning.
Until today, I've done it virtually. And I've still been able to source amazingly, but I'm really excited to see what Ken has in store for us today, Ken.
A little spoiler, but we all agree. Let's just agree up front. Let's just honestly agree up front. What a shit show we've had. Just the registration, logging in and everything else. There are some good bits. We'll get to the good bits. But Kian, can you just go through the pain barrier and explain to people the pain of just the signing up process, or digging out your old details like I did using one of my previous Canton Fair passes, because you can sign in with the ID, just to get that going, and this thing with the rabbit and the drop in a jigsaw puzzle on it and then being timed, and that's their capture form. Go into it. Go on, tell me all about it.
Yeah, sure. So just to give you a bit of a pre-context, right? The Canton Fair is a government organization. So it's essentially like government run. And normally like government are very like forward thinking in China. They're very good. But in this scenario, they just, in my opinion, are just very underprepared and underestimated what was involved in launching an online platform for, buyers and sellers. Because honestly, like I've been to 20 Canton Fairs, and it's one of the most professional and well-organized events I've ever been to. It's an incredible live event. And I kind of had, with a lot of other people, had similar expectations for the online event. I'm like, this is cool because, similar since like in COVID and lockdown, whenever like we've done like real live events and now they've moved to online events, the organizers have always done a very good job in making the online events, very warm and friendly and, as engaging as possible. But the Canton Fair, to be honest, have failed at that. And they've put together some crappy Chinese website, and that's me being polite. And when I say Chinese website, it's actually in Chinese. Like you have to translate it to English. And it's like, this is supposed to be a website which is friendly for foreigners. I feel most sorry for the suppliers as well, because they're very good suppliers and they're relying on the Canton Fair to now show their skills and show what they're good at. But the Canton Fair isn't showing them in the best possible way. And then as a result, that impacts us as buyers as well, because it's a lot harder to navigate, to find what exactly you're looking for. Now, that also presents an opportunity, because if you have the patience and if you have a swear jar next to you, then you can actually like navigate through the fair, go through a lot of pain, and then actually that's funny. Tiffany turned off Beyonce to listen to us. I'm honored to be in the same conversation as Beyonce.
Beyonce, totally.
but it's like, if you have the patience to actually go through this fair, the gems in it are the suppliers which are there. It's just you have to be able to find them, which we'll talk about shortly as well.
What to go into? You're going to do a shared screen, right? We go over some bits and pieces. Okay.
But
so
I just wanted to make it clear to everyone that like everyone is finding it hard to register, everyone's finding it hard to log in, everyone's finding it hard to navigate. So don't jump into it and think, oh, I'm no good at this. Like, it's a disaster of a website. We're all experiencing that, and hopefully day by day they're going to improve and they're going to get better. But you know, my job is to help you best navigate that in the way that I see fit in order to connect you to the best suppliers.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying off call is sorry, Sharon, you go on. You go first.
I just wanted to say that that Shakir, we should tell people that it's probably going to work best for them if they log on from Safari or Internet Explorer rather than Google Chrome.
Yeah, absolutely.
What we found. Have you tried that, Annie? Have you tried logging on not through Google Chrome?
No, I've only done it on Google Chrome. A couple of things I want to bring up here about it. I'm just putting it up on my screen here. Obviously they've got a panel on the side of the website, like a widget to go back to the top, contact us, customer service. So that's good. There is a help center and stuff there, but the problem that you go into it first, and this may be different when they validate on different browsers, right? But the problem you've got is the really poor in terms of navigation. There's no like welcome video. Now we know we're dealing with multiple languages, right? But you could also have a welcome video that has the various different translations by territory. Alibaba and etc. have got, or the Canton Fair have got the money to do things like this. I think the website has been designed from someone within China and not thought about the rest of the world in terms of user interface design and stuff. This was their opportunity to come with something really good and be innovative. And I think that's a failing on their part as well. I think they should have taken a multinational approach in terms of the website design. So things like a welcome video, start here. Someone speaking, is because people don't always look at everything on screen and they scan stuff. There's no like wizard, if you like, so you can roll over and go to different places. You're literally relied upon to go to the screen, and basically when you sign in, like you said, instead of saying register, it says registered, right? So okay, there's a conversion there, but ultimately if you're a brand this big, you would have thought that maybe the second language the attendees, I may be wrong, I don't have the data, that there would have been a bit of effort that's gone into this here. But I think this is something where you're going to do a shared screen and show stuff, but I think really important in terms of conversion optimization, usage and everything else. If you want to capture people's attention, you make it easy for them. And I don't think they've made it easy whatsoever, because even when I'm signed in with an old badge, I'll go through and there's terminology in there, things like enter workspace. Now, what is workspace? No one explains what the workspace is. Fair enough. Then you go to the workspace and then it tells you, please create a company or join as an existing company. Well, I've already registered as a company. You've got my blood type. You've got my shoe size. You've got my height. I lied about my weight on there. I've got blue eyes. I don't know what else you want outside of my passport number, but why would you need this information again if you've got that already from the previous time? And that is the kind of things that puts people off using and giving up on the site. Yeah.
And that's a very important point as well, is that like a lot of people maybe don't trust like specific websites, especially ones that like are spelling things wrong and stuff like that. But then all of a sudden they want your passport number and they want your business turnover and all that sort of stuff. And those are like common questions, and you need that to get your badge when you go to China. And like when you register for the Canton Fair, they need all your business information, but you're actually in the fair and you're filling out a form. And once you do that, you walk into the hall. So you know what you're getting when you give this information. But with this website that you don't necessarily have much trust in, and if no one's told you, hey, this is the official website, you kind of second guess, like, why am I putting all my confidential information in this website? And it's like to a platform that we don't even know like how good it is. So I can understand how people are skeptical. But and I have seen other websites as well. So the official website is cantonfair.org.cn. And if you just Google Canton Fair, there's like 4 or 5 different websites that come up, and they're sort of like those little travel informational websites. So, and those ones actually rank higher than the official Canton Fair website. So it's important to get into the actual website as well.
Cool. Let me read out some of the comments, say hi's, and then we can get into the shared screen. Yeah, you can go over it.
Cool.
So Cameron says, this is from earlier before we went live. I haven't searched for new suppliers, though, the Canton Fair online, but I did go through on the video stream factory tour yesterday of one of our current suppliers. Was pretty cool. Glad I wasn't there in person. Their city went into some sort of COVID lockdown as of today. Tiffany says, excited for this one. Owen says, as you said, Kian is not the easiest to navigate. Look forward to this afternoon. Anna's Clappin says, hi. Jamie is saying, afternoon, guys. Henrietta's here. Hi, Danny, Kian, and Sharon. Tiffany says, good morning. As you mentioned earlier on, she turned off Beyonce to listen to this. We are all very privileged. Yari says, hello. Hey, Kian, what's the best way to connect with you? Fire away quickly, Kian.
I would say the Facebook group, Sourcing with Kian, and also YouTube channel, Sourcing with Kian as well, which I do have a video on the Canton Fair as well. So, and if you do want to connect with me personally, just add me as a friend once you join the Facebook group and just send me a DM.
Cool. Owen says, hi guys, been on today and it's been bugged to death. Not on Chrome, but okay, I get that. Kevin says, geez, I just got into bed. It's 1 a.m. Shall listen to the podcast anyway. Henrietta is laughing. Quasim is saying hello. And Stephanie says, hello, fam. Let's have a look in the feed. Quasim's here. Gerard's here. Ben Valence is back. Ran is here. Sergi's here. Hope you're well, brother. And everything's good in Japan. Kevin is here. Tom Botch joined the call as well. Right, let's get into the shared screen then.
Cool. How do I do that? Oh yeah, I'll just go to share screen.
Yeah, hit shared screen and then I add it to the feed. Yeah.
Cool. Application window. StreamYard.
Okay, I got it. Here we go.
So, are you guys seeing my screen just now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So this is, so first of all, there's two ways to register for this fair. There's like the badge number, and there's also just filling in your personal information. That is a journey in itself to do, but you can just kind of do that in the top right-hand corner. I've already done that, so it's, yeah, I won't waste any time going into that. It can be challenging, but as Sharon mentioned at the start of the show, you can do this in Safari. It would be a lot better than Chrome, and I'm in Chrome right now, and I'm just going to stick with it because I'm already in. But if you do it in Safari as well, you can. But if you're starting from scratch, I would do it in Safari just because everything loads a lot faster. But anyway, so here it's like, again, it's not the sort of easiest website to navigate, but just to give you some pre-context, there are over 25,900 exhibitors, which were normally over 3 phases in the Canton Fair, but now they're here over a 10-day period. And if there's a supplier that you know who was going to be at the Canton Fair and you've done business with them before, you can just go in here into booth and type in their booth number, and you can go straight into seeing that particular supplier. So just
okay, quick question. Where do they get booth numbers from just to do a search for a booth? You think there's hundreds, if not thousands of numbers. Yeah. Where do they get that booth number from? Do you see what I mean? The ideology behind the search, why?
But to be fair, for the booth number, the supplier should give you their booth number in advance if they want you to.
Fair comment. Yeah, I just thought I'd ask. Yeah.
So, but what's interesting is that, like, you know, while we're struggling with this, the suppliers are also struggling with this as well, because like before a normal Canton Fair, like the real ones, I get like hundreds of emails from suppliers to say, hey, this is my booth number, come and check me out. Know where to find me, and I write a list before every Canton Fair. This particular fair, I've maybe had like 5 to 10, 15 max like booth number things. They don't even know what their booth number is. And they don't really know what they're doing either. And they said that I was chatting some of the suppliers before this fair, and they were like, it's a disaster. So I'm sure they're complaining to their sort of local government and stuff like that as well. But if you just go to exhibits, right, and you just type in whatever you're looking for, let's just say massage chair, and we search for that. Well, again, it sort of defaults to Chinese, which is crazy because it's an international fair.
Yeah, and you can drop down the menu to English, but it keeps defaulting back to Chinese, doesn't it? Every time you open a new page.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, the majority of people who are using this are speaking English anyway, so why not just make it as easy for them as possible? My first big pain point with this fair, right, is that, you know, like when you search for something on Alibaba, well, it will give you like the factory name, how many years they've been in business, which countries they supply, what certificates they have, if you want to select for trade assurance, all that sort of stuff. Whereas here, you've got 737 results, and that's 737 products. But all they give you is a picture. So like we don't know like how many years in business this factory has been. And then what's crazy as well is that they've done it in alphabetical order. So that's the company name, Fujian Rovos Fitness, but they're all Fujian Rovos Fitness. So whoever is this lucky company is just going to appear on page 1. They're not comparing to other suppliers. So if you're on page 95 for massage chairs, no one will ever find you because they're not going to scroll all the way to the end. So you may as well not even be listed here.
Yeah.
And then like when you click on the product, it only gives you, well, some of them have accurate prices and some have just put like $1. And here's the other thing with Chrome, it takes like ages to load. So here, okay, they've actually put a price. And then if you want, and then you can add it to favorites, which is cool as well. The cool thing is you can schedule appointments here. So you can actually chat to suppliers. Now for me, when I did this yesterday, I couldn't even send a message or schedule an appointment because I couldn't even log in. Even though I was logged in, it wouldn't allow me to do anything. So even if I do it here, top right, it says sign in again, and then I don't know what's going to happen here. It's like the roll of a dice. All right, so it's just nothing happened. But I'm guessing they're going to fix this because they're now in day 2 of the fair, and I'm probably sure they've had a lot of complaints. So just stick with it. And it's important to know that, right, this is a disaster of a website, but the best suppliers live on this website, so it's worth going through the pain to find the best suppliers. And they give you very limited information here, such as dimensions and the port and all that, which is cool. The model number is super important because like if you are ever chatting with any suppliers, you can't just say, oh, that gray massage chair. You always have to state the model number so then they know exactly which item you're talking about. And then so they're not really offering you much in this fair in terms of just like searching for products. But where I do feel they do have quite a big strength is in their live exhibits. So if you scroll down and you go to exhibitors on live, now this is cool because if you're in a specific category and you're trying to get an idea for a product and what to do next, I would check out the live section because like here they've got like bags, jackets, makeup, glass, all that sort of stuff. And here you can see they've got 4,700 streams going on live right now. But you can sort it by category, which is quite cool. So if you are into, let's say, gifts, you could even go into toys as well. You can now just check out all the toy companies and then even go live. And let's just see this one. It's quite cool. And the lives that I was watching before, you could ask questions, you could scan their QR codes. And it's just important to like have a conversation with these guys. And even if you take your communication off of this website and onto WeChat and onto email, at least you've now built up a relationship with a proper factory. And then you can sort of continue your conversations outside of the fair. So let's just watch it, see what happens, see how they're interacting.
Come back in 10 minutes once it's loaded, yeah?
Yeah.
I can use the same view here. All same here, the Leon batteries.
So see here, they've got a QR code. So you can just scan that on WeChat and you've got them. Take a note of their email as well. And then jump in and we'll be like, hey, nice cars.
Okay, do you want to see more our climbing team and with the more functions? You are welcome to keep the video.
So let's get out of that. So that's super cool, super unique. Like we've not really seen anything like that before in Alibaba. And I would say this is the biggest strength of the online fair, that you can select a category and you can just see all these different presentations of different products, which we're not really going to be able to see elsewhere. So if you are in a specific category, look for that. And if you're looking for new products, you can just search on that for days. And I'm sure you'll find loads of stuff and get loads of ideas. The other cool thing about this fair that I want to bring to your attention, and this is something that I do at the real fair that I've not really seen anyone else do, no one really talks about, is the awards section. So if you scroll down to the Canton Fair Awards, and these are the sort of awards that they're giving for the new innovative ideas or new designs or new materials. And this is actually what the real hall looks like in the Canton Fair, and it's hidden between areas B and C. And if you enter it here, it's kind of like one of those Google Maps with the dodgy music as well. And you can just
turn the music off as well.
Click on music and you can turn it off.
Yeah.
Wait.
Canton Fair.
Yeah.
See awards for short.
Oh, there we go. All right, cool. So we can go in and see if you look around here. There's kitchen stuff. There's motorbikes. There's massage chairs. There's surfboards. So it's all over the place in terms of what the products are. But anything in this hall has won some sort of design award or innovation. So this is good for you to get like new ideas for specific products. So here's like some luggage, and then you can actually just click on it here, and then it will tell you about the product and why it's won this bronze award. It's a portable open suitcase, opens from the top there, which is quite cool. And then it's in Chinese, if you can read Chinese.
Can you right click on that and convert that to English or translate it or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's got an English written below it as well.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
But see here, it says like the zipper can be locked, valuables can be stored securely. The charging device does not need to be taken out. So that's like a suitcase which has got a charging device, which is cool. I've not really seen anything like that before. He'll probably be some innovative shoes. So this is another haul where I would spend a lot of time. And Ali knew about this because I've been to this haul in real life, in the real fair. And anyone who's been to the fair, this haul, if we can get out, they've locked us in. All right. If we could get out, this is between the areas B and C, which is where most people just walk through, and it's a very, very busy walkway and pathway. Yeah. But that hall is sort of hidden here. So once we go back to
how did you get here? What did you do for those that weren't following how you got here?
As you scroll down to the bottom, you got options here.
Just scroll down to the bottom of the homepage and then click on CF Awards. It takes a while to load, let it load, and then walk into that dodgy glass room and then just sort of navigate around there. So although it's a terrible website and it's really hard to find suppliers and discuss with products with suppliers, two massive strengths is the exhibitors on live and the award section. And finally, the sort of last thing I wanted to bring to your attention is that, we talked about Alibaba. Well, Alibaba actually knew that Canton Fair would be a shit website, so they went and did their own online trade show. So if you go to Alibaba.com, they've now converted their website into a trade show. So if you click on this, they've actually done it similar dates, 8th to the 28th of June. Now, this is a very good website, very user-friendly for trade shows, but as we sort of discussed before, the quality of suppliers on Alibaba are not as good as the quality of suppliers on the Canton Fair, but the user experience on Alibaba is going to be a lot better. Now here you can register for VIP access, and I'm not sure quite what this means, but it says they're going to give you net 60-day terms for America only. I don't know why they would do that just by registering for VIP, because all you have to do is upload your business card and your VIP. They'll give you exhibitor lists and data, so that's all quite cool. They've also got like live demos similar to what Canton Fair are showing. They've got the hot products, and then they also have presentations as well. So if you click on here, they've got people showing you like inside factories as well. Take a journey to a leading manufacturer of speakers and audio. So if you want to get like factory tours and stuff like that, you can just click on any of these and watch that sort of stuff as well. Again, it's just good for building your experience. It's a user-friendly website, but it's not necessarily where you're going to find great products. The best suppliers and the best products are going to be in the Canton Fair. So I hope that sort of gives you sort of a couple of hacks for the website and clears things up a little bit, and just shows you that we're all in the sort of same boat. But I hope that was useful for you guys.
Cool. Quick one. Joanne says, how do we know when phase 2 is looking for the schedule? It's on the Canton Fair website. I think it's on the 17th phase 2 starts of October, but on here, I'm imagining what she's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially they've got phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 for the online fair. They've merged them all into one. Yeah, and all the 26,000 exhibitors are all on show at the same time. But normally phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, they're like 5 days each, and then there's like a 3 or 4 day break in between each one as well to allow the guys to pack up and then get new guys in.
Also, Kier, my question was, will everything be accessible after the virtual fair ends?
No idea, because it's the first time we're seeing it. So that's why I kind of said, like, take your conversations off of the Canton Fair website, because once this fair ends, you don't want to be having any sort of like price negotiation and product quality conversations on their messaging platform, and then the website disappears, and then so is your conversation. So anything that you want to discuss with these suppliers should be in email and WeChat as well, just to back it up
cool.
after.
Sharon, what's your initial thoughts? You've not been to, me and Kian, he's been there a lot more times than I have, but me and Kian's been to the fair. You've never attended. Is that a step up for you? Does that like get you excited, thinking, great, that's a new medium for me to attend the Canton Fair? Is it, or is it just left you nonplussed?
I think that I'm not that impressed by the website. I think I meant to go, my husband and I, we meant to go to China this year. We wanted to actually physically go to the Canton Fair. I don't think that it's replaceable, right, Ken? Like, I just don't feel like I think that if I would have been there, I would have had a much better experience. This is the first time I've actually been able to see the website properly, what Ken just showed. The only thing that I got excited about was the awards thing. I was like, oh, cool, like suppliers you can 100% trust. Even though I haven't been in China, I do know a lot of people in the industry, and I've got sourcing agents and people that I'm good friends with, like apart from Ken as well. I know that there are still, because we're like speaking really badly of like Alibaba and stuff, and there's also very good, suppliers on Alibaba as well. There's a lot of people who have their whole business. They run their whole business from finding people on Alibaba. It's all the matter of doing your due diligence. But to answer the main question, I'm not really impressed by this. I don't think I would have felt that the experience would have been the same. I think the whole point of flying to China is so that you have that ability to have the conversations face to face, to sit down with them, etc. And I just don't. I was speaking to my husband about this website earlier, and he was like, it makes sense that in 2020 we should be able to have a Canton Fair online. Like, we should also be able to like have a Zoom call and things like that with them. But I don't know. I don't see are you able to actually sit there and speak to have the conversation with the people live?
Well, as long as you draw down some blood, you take a series of vitamin D and E tests before you start, and obviously give them all of your personal data, then you'll be able to set up as a business post the fact that you've already registered for the Canton Fair.
So
and then what? Then you speak to them like on a call where you see each other and speak to each other?
Well, it says on the website that you can arrange a meeting with them. But
has anyone done that? Like, what is a meeting with them? What does that mean? Does that mean that we then go offline and we email them? Or does that mean that we're going to then have a Zoom call or whatever? I'm just using Zoom as an example, and we actually speak to them, because I could also do that. Like, this is me being from someone, Kian, don't get angry at me or anything, that has never attended a Canton Fair. Because I feel like I could also have done that on like Alibaba, and I don't really think I've seen something here apart from the awards thing, which I was like, ooh, this is super cool. I'm going to go check that out as soon as we finish this. I probably could have found that stuff on there. And I've got people in China that can go and do, the due diligence for me and make sure that they're a real company and stuff. So what is the advantage here is my main question.
This is what we'll get to. Website. Well, you had loads of questions there. Let's just unpack them. First things first, Kian, have you arranged a meeting with anyone on the platform yet?
No, but I'll tell you why. Because because I've been here so many times, I know my suppliers anyway, so I've already got their contact information. But here's the crazy thing: is that so if you do want to have a conversation with your suppliers, it says schedule an appointment. I couldn't schedule an appointment because I couldn't log in. But the funny thing was that the suppliers that I was speaking to didn't even know that you could do that as well. Because I was WeChatting. I've just got a conversation up here. I was WeChatting one of my suppliers. And I was saying, like, have you got any live demonstrations? Has anyone like scheduled a meeting with you? And he's like, what do you mean schedule a meeting? I was like, well, on the website, you can click on it and they can like schedule one-to-one. He's like, really? And then he logs in and then he writes, oh, I have a live meeting from 6 to 7 p.m. Oh my God. So he didn't even know that he was supposed to go live from 6 till 7. And so but when we logged in there was already like 4,500 people live. And when I did my YouTube video yesterday, there was 6,500 people live. So there's a lot of stuff. Because
they're getting some numbers in then. I mean, well, you think it's global, but they're getting some numbers. But can you imagine what they're leaving on the table by the barrier to entries?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why why I quite don't understand like the Chinese government's like philosophy behind this, because like this Canton Fair accounts for $1 billion of export of Chinese products to the rest of the world based on what people see at this fair and what people buy at this fair. And for this lockdown situation that we're in, online was the only way that we could access it, and they didn't capitalize on this opportunity. So by having a shit website, they probably lost billions of dollars of export. So I don't know. It is what it is, and we just have to make the most of it.
Yeah. Just quickly go back to Joanne. I think she misunderstood. She's saying that, okay, because personal care isn't showing yet. Going back to the phases of Canton, you saying all under one roof. And then she says, thanks, I can search products, but I thought the only exhibit categories show up on the homepage. Never understood. Never mind. So I think she's getting impatient to answer the question. So have you seen her category? Kian.
So what I would do is go back to that live section, and in the live section you can go into categories, and I think you said personal care was the thing that you were after.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it right now. If you go to all categories, you can scroll down, and it is very vague. So you might just have to, because they've got like home decorations, and then they've just got shoes, but then they've got like food.
They've got medical devices and health products. I mean, that's not personal care, but...
So if you go to all categories and go to consumer goods, and then within consumer goods, there's personal care products. And I've just clicked on that now, and there are loads of stuff. There's facial masks, razor blades, nail stuff. Some really cool stuff, actually.
Where did you see consumer products?
So go back to the homepage.
There, consumer goods. Okay, got it. And then what do you do? Personal care. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. So actually, if I don't think I can link it in the chat here, but it's there anyway. Just go to the homepage and then go down live.
She just said yes. I found it under consumer goods. So Henrietta said, I went to the Canton Fair for the first time last year and was overwhelmed. I would have gone back this May much better prepared. I think you mean back in April, but still, it's only a month apart. I remember. I'm sure I met you, Henrietta, out there, didn't I? Here's another one here. It's not the same as physically being there. I totally agree with that. Stuart says, just curious, if you already know your suppliers and in contact with them, what's the purpose of contacting them at the Canton Fair? That wasn't the point. Like, you were just speaking to your suppliers, and he mentioned on the call that he has a live call through that website that he didn't know about. So you weren't contacting him to speak to him via the Canton Fair because he's already your supplier. Yeah, but
it's a good point as well. It's also because, like, let's say like I work with like hundreds of suppliers, so it's hard to like keep in contact with all of them. And the Canton Fair was always something I look forward to, because I can see all my suppliers in a few days rather than like phoning them all up. I can just walk down certain halls and I'm going to bump into them, and it's like, you can, the good thing is about having contact with them at the fair is that you can find out what new products they've been working on, because these suppliers, they don't just like randomly develop products when they want to. They normally develop it for a fair like this. So that like they use their new products as the lead magnet for their exhibition, so they can say, hey, new for this Canton Fair, this is a product we've been working on. And they only sort of share that with their existing customers because they don't want people stealing their ideas. So that's just a good way, a good reason to stay in touch with your manufacturers around Canton Fair time.
Okay, so Cy B, welcome back, Cy, showing off. Look, I've just managed to register and log in during this broadcast on Chrome. Not too tricky.
We've got a tech genius.
We've got a tech genius.
Should have tried it yesterday, Cy B. It was really difficult. But
Cy, when you get a moment, do you want to pop round my gaff and get it sorted for me as well? Yeah.
Come up to Edinburgh.
We can put in all of your bank details, blood type and shoe size and stuff as well. And then I'll shop through your account on there. If that's all right. Yeah.
There was another guy that said something interesting. You should bring it back up, Danny. I think it was like Chris White or something. Chris, maybe, I think his name was.
It was Charles.
Oh, you know Charles. Hey, Charles, how you doing?
I found an area where you can see who's placed orders and with which company. I mean, that's
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how cool that is for Amazon sellers, but okay. Be careful what name you put in as your business.
Yeah.
That's really good to know. I didn't know that.
Yes.
It's actually an important fact.
Cy B just come in. He says, I used all your deets, mate. So he signed in as me. Yeah. Cheers, Cy. Thanks. I owe you a beer. What else have we got here? Any other questions before we move on? So I want to, my thing about it, and as I said, like you spent all day yesterday, I just gave up today. It's not of interest to me in the end. I had to play around. I'm thinking this is a shit show, just signing up. But the thing that always stands with me, one of the only reasons I say, or the main reason for me going to the Canton Fair when I do, and I have done in the past, is purely the fact that I can pick the item up. I can walk the show, fast pace, look around me, stop, pick up the item before I've had a conversation. That's so important for me because normally it's the other way around. If you're working online, then you don't know anything until the sample arrives. And the sample could be terrible and you've invested all that time. Whereas in 30 seconds, you're going to realize whether this is suitable. I know that obviously the quality of the samples and they're putting their best foot forward, but it's a quick way to identify a quality of a product by handling it. And within a few seconds, you'll know or not, you know?
100%. And that's a good point, Danny, as well, that like you can also compare like for like with other suppliers, because let's say you're after a water bottle, you can grab the water bottle sample from one booth and then another from another booth and see that they're like a similar price, and then just get them both in and do a drop test and see which one breaks, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to go for that one. So like it's little things like that you can do in real life that now it's going to take a lot of time and effort to arrange samples.
But maybe what it is that maybe not this year, but next year might be beneficial, where they're improved. Maybe they take their learnings from this year's site, fix all the problems. I mean, it's done at great scale, you know, it's like at least they've had a crack at doing it. But there might be some benefits people see. But like you said, if you go into the innovation center or the awards center, it gives you ideas and stuff on products. But beyond that, with the page load times and everything else, I can't see a massive upside, unless you see the upside is a lot of people, not a lot, but a group of people watch this, give up with not looking at it, and people go on there, go through the pain barrier and actually find some products because they're willing to go through that barrier to entry.
Yeah, and you know what, Danny, like I was also thinking about this as well, that like, okay, let's say this online fair was a huge success. It was like, well, how would that affect the next fair in October and November? Like, would they do another online fair parallel to the real fair, or would they just go back to the real fair? And then yesterday on the news, I don't know if you guys heard that like China in like north, like Beijing area had another outbreak where they're doing another lockdown, and it was another food market. And I was like, shit, because like we thought
no one's going to be flying to China this year, Kian. Don't be.
I was about to go.
You are not Morris though in this thing. I'll tell you, people are like, honestly, the amount of people that I speak with, I mean, not that you don't, you speak with a lot of people. So what I mean is like, no one, I don't know, people like that are watching us, like, let's comment here, but no one's going to be flying to China. You specifically are like half Chinese from the fact that you've been in China so many times and it's like your second home. But most people who especially like me, who've never also been in China, I'm like definitely not I don't get easily scared of things like that or whatever, but I'm not going to China in the next year. I mean, Danny, are you going to China in the next year? I mean,
no chance, not after last time. No, I've had it with China. Like the times I've gone, I went through 6 not mobile devices, but you know, I even signed up to the local Chinese mobile tariff, got in a cab, got lost in the middle of nowhere. Then I got ripped off by a cab driver. And when I went to feel sorry for myself and went to the coffee shop, I nearly got arrested because I had fake notes from the change from the cab driver. So every time, like VPNs, I think I went through 3 or 4 VPNs. A good friend of the show set me up 2 mobile devices, set it up on my computer. I bought the chips for like the devices, you know, like everything just didn't work. None of it worked. And then you're literally going from one hotel. I'd get out of the hotel, get in a taxi, and then get completely lost when I get to the other end, and I can't call anyone because I had problems with the mobile devices. So it was an absolute nightmare. And Kian knows because I nearly flew home twice, and one of them, Sean, he had to settle me down. Sean and who was it? Sean and Brendan I was staying with, and Brendan said, "Listen, you better go and take care of Dan. He's fucking losing it." So he sat me down for a day, and we went out and had food and chilled. And but you know, the other thing, before my speaking stuff started, I end up checking into this hotel. Right, I don't have the pictures now, but I literally walked through the door of this hotel, and I think, what the fuck is this? It was absolutely filth, like disgusting. Right, then I'm looking and I'm thinking, I can see on the wall, like there's almost like a window with a catch, but like it's netting. As I've opened this catch, I've looked the other side. I'm looking at someone else's bedroom. There's a guy sitting there smoking a cigarette. Yeah. And I'm like, right, I'm out of here. But then obviously I didn't have any phone or anything. So I'm trying to use the dial-up in the room. I've called Baptiste. I went, Baptiste, another friend of the show, please. And he's such a gem. He went and found me another hotel, sent a car for me and everything else. And then I checked into this hotel, and I had to have a shower in the hotel to get over the filth of the last hotel. And I stayed there for a few days. But it was a constant drama with me in China, but you love this stuff, you know?
Yeah, no, see, like I've got stories for days because like when I went to
Yeah.
China for the first time like 10 years ago, we didn't have smartphones. Like I was using like the Nokia phones with like you know, little text on screen and stuff like that. And because like now we go to like 5-star hotels in the city center for like these fairs, but like I was going to factories and like village towns where they didn't even have like Western hotels or 4 or 5-star hotels. I was staying in these like 3-star village hotels with like sometimes I'd wake up and go for breakfast. There's no food that you like or you recognize, and then you look at this thing that looks like soup, and then there's like a chicken's foot in there, and then you look at the wall and there's like cockroaches on the wall, stuff like mad stuff like that. And I was like, I don't know, part of it just I don't know. I like that stuff because I know that no one else is doing it, and if I know that I'm here, no one else is here, I know I've got an advantage. So stuff like that like motivates me, if you know what I mean. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I was meaning that no one's going to travel to China this year because of the virus. Because I mean, people aren't traveling in general. I don't really think that. I mean, has anyone answered us? Are people planning on flying to China this year? I just don't.
I've got it. Yeah, hold on. Look at this. Look how this. I don't know if we can see it on the phone. That's a door. Looks like a prison cell, right? Jeez. So look how filthy that floor is. Mm-hmm. And then I went, look at that shower. Now that's the shower. I took one look at that and you're having a fucking laugh. I ain't going in there. I needed to have a shower just to get out of there.
Are these like 5-star hotels? Do they exist? Like, how does it work in China?
Oh yeah, no, the best hotels in the world.
Yeah. Here's the room. Right, you see through here. Okay, you see through there. That's where the little Chinaman's sitting there having a cigarette. Like, I'm thinking that goes to outside, but that don't go out to side. That goes to a guy just staring at me. Unbelievable.
My husband would die of this. But while we were all speaking, I was having a little look at the website, and I think that's something that I would take from this simply just because I do a lot of coaching on product research and stuff. I just found like I'm not going to say what it is because I may even look into it. I just found like the most randomest product in the world just by randomly going to the live, what you said, Care, we went to live, consumer goods, and then personal care, just so we could see what Joanna was speaking about. And then I just saw some really interesting products. And I was like, hey, I've never seen these. Haven't seen them on Amazon. Haven't seen them on Alibaba. So anyone who's during their product research stage, even if you don't do everything on the Canton Fair, right? I'm going to be straight up and honest. I'm not going to do anything on here apart from maybe look at products. I'm probably not going to communicate here with suppliers because like I'm not going to have the patience for this website. But anyone who is like me and is not going to have the patience for it, you can still get some really interesting product ideas from here. Because I mean, I've already just done this and found some interesting things. So.
Okay, so the feed just flooded because they're thinking I went cheap with the hotel. So let me explain why I ended up in that hotel. The reason I ended up in that hotel is because I had a run of speaking gigs for 7 weeks. I was on the road, right? So I could have had an opportunity to finish speaking a gig in Manchester in the UK, right? And then come home for a day, do all the traveling Manchester, back to the village, left the village, back out to the airport. It didn't make sense. So I flew to China 2 days earlier instead of commuting from Manchester, which I knew I'd get there earlier. So all my speaking gigs, my hotels have all been booked, but I hadn't had accounted for these couple of dates. So I got a friend to book the hotel who got one of his VAs to book the hotel. But obviously my level of 4 or 5 star may be not been their level 4 or 5 star. So when I get there, the cab drops you off. You go into this building and it looks like a crack house. So then you go up to like the 20th floor, the lift smells of piss and everything else. And you think, hold on, this is not going the right way, Dan. We're going to need to work on this one. And then you get into the room and it's Tenko. It's like a prisoner of war camp. You go in there, you see the little Chinaman smoking, and that's it, I'm out. But then obviously the mobile's not working because the chip's not working. And so this is where Baptiste popped in. Like I managed to phone him on the landline from the room and he took care of everything. So Henrietta and everyone else, that explains why the problem was. The rest of the hotels and stuff and the Airbnbs were fine that I stayed in. But yeah, no, made a big wrong turn on that one. Anyway, sorry.
Ken, when you said it, are you in like Airbnbs? Do you have like how does it work when you go there, Kian?
No, I just stay in hotels as well, and like luckily now, like China's gone through like a growth in their middle class, and now China's actually got the best hotels in the world, in my opinion. Like they have all the international hotels, like your Hilton's, Sheraton's, Four Seasons, Shangri-La, all that sort of stuff, and it's beautiful. Like they have the nicest hotels, and luckily, like even if the factories are in like a rural part, I always just make the drive back into the city to stay in a nice hotel, and it's a very, very pleasant experience. But Danny, I wish there was like a camera following you around that sort of day.
I was losing my shit every single day. You would have seen me like when I'm in a China mobile store, right? I'm sitting there for half an hour, passports out, it's everything. I'm signing all of these documents in Chinese. I'm thinking, damn, what the fuck you doing? Just believe in the process. Just go with it, then go with it, going. So they've tested it and they showed me it worked, and then they put it on my device and it didn't work. So then they said you need to top it up. So I topped it up and it still didn't work. In the end, I'm animated. I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, look, this just leave it. And I might as well just took the money and set fire to it. So then I get outside. That cab wasn't waiting for me to take me back to the hotel. So I was using business cards, showing the business cards to get back to the hotel, like for the hotel. Then I give the guy 100 or 200. I can't remember exactly. And then I thought, you know what? Before I go back into the hotel, I'm going to go down to Costa. I think it's Costa or one of those two. Goes in there, obviously got the change from the taxi. He's actually asking me about the notes. Oh, you got anything small? I said, I've got nothing to break. He went, and I should have known when he's gone from one pocket to another, he's pulled out his snide notes. So then security pulled me up and said, you can't spend them in there. I said, and then I had to explain taxi, and then someone come over and translated and they let me go on it. And I walked away with my coffee. But it wasn't.
You know what's really interesting about that is that, like, having lived in China for a while, like I've had loads of those days as well. And it's like whenever like a foreigner comes to China and like someone's like, oh, I just moved to Shanghai, we have like a welcome party and all that sort of stuff. It's always funny, like hearing their experiences, because everyone has those like fuck me, I'm in China days, right? And it's like the world just decides when they're gonna just take a shit on you that day, basically. And it happens to all of us, but that's not common. It doesn't really happen much like in America or in the UK or whatever. And it's like, see, I don't know if you can see on my camera here, right? See right there, I've got a painting there, and it says a picture, and that's of Shanghai. And see on the left, it's very, very dark and black, and on the right it's clear sky, and it's like the skyline of Shanghai, which is very big and beautiful. And that, I love that picture so much because it kind of depicts a typical day in China. Whereas like when I was living there, right, it was like some days are the best days of your life. It's the highs of the highs. Like you're learning, you're growing, you're networking, you're doing big business, and it's amazing. And some days are the lowest of the low, where it's like nothing is going right, mad pollution, very lonely, isolated, all that sort of stuff. And it would just flip between the two: best day, worst day, best day, worst day. Whereas in like Europe and other parts of the world, it just kind of like goes like not many highs and lows, but it just sort of floats along. Whereas there it was just and eventually like it takes a toll on you, if you know what I mean.
It did. I mean, I'll give you another example, right? When we were doing when Steve, who was it, who had there's three of them together, Chris Davey, when he does his events, right? So I'd just been over with you guys at the Four Seasons, so we're just delivering some China Magic stuff there, right? Now, it's across the road as the crow flies, So Chris says, Dan, don't worry, just come out the Four Seasons, go across the road. So you ask the guy outside, right, where we go. So he goes, just go over there, and like pointing. So we walked and navigated around all these nice trees, plants and everything else, and it drops down. So went down, looked around. Obviously, I can't find this place, this bar, right? So go back to him again. He said, no, you've got to go down there. So I went for a second time. So by this time, obviously it's hot as well. You're back, forth, back. So the third time I get back to the hotel, because obviously I had the Wi-Fi on the Four Seasons. So that was fine. And then in the end, Chris just sent me a car. And I was at the venue within about 3 minutes by car. It took me 90 minutes going back and forth at the entrance of the Four Seasons. That's why you lose your shit over stuff. Do you know what I mean? So
that's interesting.
What else we got here? Sharon, good to see you're here. Don't sweat all those copycats. Danny, Kian, great stories today, and looking forward to make my virtual airplane and visiting the Canton Fair. There's a few products that I want to source. And and would like to start with my supplier research there. Bill says, Danny, this is completely different thing, but I got Tagsand and big old thanks, Bill Darwin. Tiff says she's off to Greece, or she's up for Greece. Charles said it would be my documentary. Was it? I'll be your documentary camera next time, Danny. Mate, you know what it's going to be like? What is that? Idiots Abroad.
Yeah,
That's what it'll be like. That'll be me, Carl Pinkleton, walking around, wouldn't it? That would be the problem. Who else have we got here in the feed? Charles White, said 4 seasons. Henrietta, obviously she met Baptiste as well. Really, really good guy. Who else is? Yeah, we're going to go soon, but we can't. Sorry, we are going to go as soon as we can. But I did live there for 2 years, so like Kian, I've been acclimatized to everything. Andrea says, any tips for going to the virtual fair for your specific brands category?
Yeah, so for that, I would just do like on the homepage, go to the live section, and then once you go in the live section, it's got a list of the categories, and then just find it there. That's your best bet. And I would much rather scroll through the live section and look out for the new products rather than typing your product in and scrolling through endless amounts of images that all look the same. So I would just only focus on the live, and your category should be there. But the categories are very broad as well. So if you don't find your specific category, because you saw like within personal care, there was like hundreds of lives going on. So just get as broad as you can, and then like hone in on all the lives going on until you find something that's very similar for your category.
Cool. All right, look, let's wrap here. Anything you would like to add before we go?
Well, I actually think, so this Canton Fair is going on for 10 days. This is day 2, and it's been a bit of a disaster in terms of the navigation and stuff, like on day 1 and 2. I actually think that the Canton Fair website will improve it. So what I'm going to be doing in my Facebook group is like doing lives just randomly. Whenever I see there's an improvement on the website, I'm just going to live answer any questions, show any new parts of the site that becomes available. So if you are interested in more stuff about the Canton Fair, just join the Facebook group, Sourcing with Kian. And maybe Danny, this time next week, Tuesday, will be day 9 of the fair. So maybe we can do a Canton Fair wrap.
Do a wrap up. Yes. Sharon, any last thoughts?
I'm just scrolling through while you guys are speaking, and there's a lot of like golden nuggets here. So what was her name? Andrea, who asked that question. Yeah, don't just stick to your specific product line, but also have a look at within your niche, because there's a lot of hidden things here that I actually take back what I said about Alibaba, because I haven't seen some of the things here on Alibaba. So I would definitely also use this for your product research as well. You don't have to only do it for just suppliers, in general product research. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they can come to Amazon FBA Alphas. Ken is also in my group, so you can also ask Ken questions in my group. Cool. And also my YouTube channel, Sharon Evan.
Cool. So we'll see you guys. I won't say see you next Tuesday. I'll say Tuesday of next week. And we'll do another wrap on the Canton Fair. Okay, Cole Pinkerton here signing off. 4 p.m. BST. Back here tomorrow. We have Tim Jordan. We're going to be doing an in-depth with him tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it, even at the expense of my trip around China as well. I'll see you guys next week. Stay home, stay safe. I'm back here 4 p.m. BST tomorrow. Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.